The wheel's very intoxicating and it's very sort of meditative. You get into this lovely space, and I thought, I love the wheel, but I don't want to do standard pots, you know. I want to actually do sculpture. So I started playing with making sort of cylinders and round forms and assembling them. People used to say to me, why don't you hand build? And I would say, but actually, if I throw and assemble, the clay is so loose that it flops like a figure, you know, it starts to animate itself. And I was always attracted to the female form, which a lot of, you know, after motherhood, having your babies and being sort of rotund with fecundity and sort of fertility and breastfeeding and everything, that rounded female form is very seductive. My work then took a really definite course then about the woman being the holding up of society, and also the controller of society in a sort of a subversive way, you know, not the obvious sort of white middle class male sort of dominating business and everything, but from underneath, sort of controlling things very, very quietly. I loved the portrayal of the Indian woman, and like they've all got big tummies and big breasts. It affected my sort of view of how to portray the female, and also my experience of being pregnant. And I loved actually too women with big thighs. I wanted them to be really strong and powerful. But funnily enough, I do small breasts. And I think it's because it's semi-virginal, you know, it's semi sort of not quite womanish. There was a quote by Carolyn Chisholm when she was an early missionary. They asked her what did she think of the women in Australia at the time, and she said they're either damn whores or God's police. And so I thought, God, I love that metaphor, you know, because my daughter too was going through menopause at the time, and she came home and said to me, Mum, she said, I'm sick of the boys at school. She said, you're either, you know, a tart or something sort of virginal that can't be sort of touched. I became really interested in gender roles then. What makes a gender, you know, what makes you a female or a male? And I came to the conclusion that it's just a continuum. You can fit anywhere on the continuum. I have done a male sculpture. I was asked by a gentleman who came in and saw my work. He said, you know, you do all these females, I want you to do a man for me. And I said, all right, I'll do a man. But when he went away, I thought to myself, God, I don't know how to do a man, because when I do my females, you sort of breathe yourself into the form, you know, and, you know, you can feel the form, you can, the arch of the back, the sticky out of the bum and things like that. And I thought, I actually don't know how to do a man. This lady came in, I was talking to her about it, and she said, all I know, dear, is that they take up a lot of space. And I thought, that's it. They do. It's not just physical space, it's emotional space. I did a whole big exhibition about armour, women in armour, and about Boadicea. I became sort of obsessed with the look of armour, but the story of Boadicea, her sort of fighting sort of abilities and her strength and her power. But the interesting thing was it became a metaphor for sort of encasing yourself and protecting yourself. That's all very well, you know, this armour thing, and you do become strong, but you also become impenetrable, you know, and you're not open to a lot of things because you're so protected. Getting rid of the armour, that is an ongoing exercise for me. Like a lot of people who do a lot of making, a lot of artists, will say they go into the zone, and I go into a zone and the material leads me. And I actually, it's very lovely. And I wake up I know it's worked when I wake up at the end of the process and I see something I've made and I think, my God, I made that. And then later on, when it's sort of been exhibited, or maybe when it's been there for a little while, you look at it and you start reflecting on it and you start thinking about it. I get into the zone, I lose my body, and I'm not aware that I am putting my body under stress, like especially when I'm sitting on the wheel and bending over. I don't feel my body at all. I don't feel anything, I'm just in this meditative zone that my body is immaterial. So, no, it's totally, I don't feel anything with my body. Yeah, it's gone.